So today we'll see the searching logic. To search an element from a list of elements is a very common thing. Now in real life also we search a lot of things. You may be searching your keys or your mobile or your specs or anything. Or the best example I can give is Google search that you implement. From a list of data you try to search something, you try to extract something. Today what we are going to do is, from this array we have to search for a particular element. Now this searching can be done by two methods. One is linear search, another one is binary search. The most easiest of the searches is linear search, and if you have large number of elements out of which the search has to be performed, then we must be using the binary search. So today what I will be doing is, I will start with this linear search. Now linear search, as the word suggests, it linearly searches the elements from top to bottom, from the first element till the last element. Let us say this is the number. This number to be searched is entered by the user. Let's say the user enters this number. I have to search this number in the array. So obviously what I'll do is, I'll compare this number with each element of the array, from the first element till the last element, that is from 0th position till the 9th position. Comparing this element with every position of the array, if I encounter the element at any position, I can stop my search process further, because as the element is present on a particular position, it's found, we need not check it further. So there I will be using the break statement. You know break statement? What the objective of break is? It is to terminate the loop abnormally. See, normally the loop is terminated when this condition is false. But when apart from this condition you need to come out of the loop abnormally, then you should be using the break statement. So what I am doing is, I'll search this number in this array. I'll start comparing the number with each number of the array. If I find the number at any position, I'll stop further verification, further searching by using the break statement. Now for the most important thing. This number is not present in the array, can be decided only after comparing the whole array. Let's say I have compared three numbers. I can't conclude that the number is not present. Number not present should be decided only after comparing all elements of the array. That is, after going from the 0th position till the last position. If you did not find the element on any position, then at the last you should say that the number is not present. Now what most of the people do wrong in this program is, they compare. Is the number present here? If it's present, they directly say present, and if it's not present, then they will say it's not present. I again repeat, number is not present can be concluded only after comparing the whole of the array. So while comparison takes place, I can conclude that the number is present. Not present can be concluded only after the list has been checked completely. So here I write down few things for you. Keep this in mind. While comparing the elements, what you can conclude is that the number is present. Not present can be concluded only after verification of the complete array. So one output is inside the loop, and the second output, that is not present, will be outside the loop, that is at the completion of the loop. In such situations, you must be using this status variable called as flag. I have taught you this status variable flag. This status variable's objective is to maintain a status of something. Now this status is maintained in terms of true or false. You know this, 0 is false and 1 is true. So initially what I have assumed is that the number is not present, and I have set the value of flag to 0. If the number is found, I will update its status from 0 to 1. If it is not found, then the status will not get updated. The status will remain as 0 itself. Hence, I have to use this variable flag with initial value 0. If the number is found, I'll update its status to 1. If not found, its status will remain as 0. So to search this number in the array, first part of the program I have already written. I have defined an array of 50 numbers. I have scanned the 50 numbers from 0 to 49 on different positions. I have scanned the number to be searched in the array. Now this number, I wish to compare it with all positions of the array. Now when I say all positions of the array, I'll have to again vary each position starting from 0 to 49. I'll compare the number with each element of the array. I hope you remember, this is not the array. A of I is not the complete array. A of I is a certain element of the array. I am comparing the number with each element. If at all it is found on any position, I can print over here itself that the number is found, the number is present. And because it has been found, the value of flag which was initially 0, I'll update the value of flag from 0 to 1. And as further verification is not required, I'll be using the break statement. Now most of the students, what they do is, they compare if A of I is number found, if not, else they directly print that the number is not present. Never do this, it's the most critical mistake. You have not found the number on a particular position. Let's say you have not found the number on A of 0. What do? You check it on A of 1. If it is not present on A of 1, you check it on A of 2. So if A of I is equals to num, you are free to say that the number is found, it is present. But if it is not present on A of I, you need to check on to the next position. So never write down the else over here. As I have already told you, present is inside the loop, not present should be done at the completion of the loop. So terminate your for loop here. This for loop has to be terminated over here, and at the completion of the for loop, you can print that the number is not present or it is not found. Now see, initial flag was 0. If the number was found, flag is set to 1. But if the number is not found, flag will never become 1. It will remain as 0. So at the completion of the loop, here I put a condition. If flag is 0, I can always conclude over here that the number is not present. That's a printf number not found. So the easiest method of searching is defined in front of you, but just take care that you do not put a else over here. First check the whole array from 0 to the last position. If at all you find the number at any position, update flag, break takes you out of the loop. If the number is not found at any position, this part will never get executed and flag will remain 0. If flag is 0, then we will simply print that the number is not found. Okay? So this is the first method of search. Second method is binary search, that will be taken care in another class. Okay? Okay, done. Now we'll start with sortings. Now to arrange the data in ascending or descending order is called as sorting. In computer technology, this is one of the most important things, searching, and second one is sorting. You will be asked to sort your information. Now this information can be any information. It can be a list of numbers or it can be any real-time information also. You will be asked to arrange this information in the ascending or descending order. Now to arrange in ascending or descending order is called as sorting. Here I can explain with a small example. Let us say you have an array of 50 numbers. The elements of this array are entered by the user. You do not know what elements the user will give, or you do not know in which particular order the elements are going to be entered by the user. You just know one thing, that you have a list of numbers with you. The numbers are 50. You have been asked to arrange them in the ascending or descending order. Now to do this, there are various techniques. There is selection sort, there is bubble sort, there is quick sort, there is Reddick sort, there is insertion sort. There are various techniques available. If you apply this technique on any array of any data type, of any dimension, your elements will be automatically arranged in this sorted order. You just need to remember the technique, and that technique can be implemented on any sort of array. So today what I will be doing is, I'll start by explaining you people the selection sort technique. The most easiest and the most commonly used selection technique, at least in the initial stages, selection sort technique. Now just remember the method. Don't bother about the program, just remember the method. The method is very simple. Select one element and compare it with all elements below it. If greater, interchange them. I am talking about ascending order arrangement, okay? Select one element, compare it with all elements below it. If greater, interchange it. Go on selecting every element of the array, compare it with all elements below it. If greater, then you have to interchange them simultaneously. Let us say I have an array of 5 elements, something like this. An array of 5 elements with position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What selection sort tells us, select the first element. Let me select 0th element. Compare this 0th element with all elements below it. So obviously I will select 0th position and I will compare it with first element, second element, third element and the fourth element. Then I will select the first element, compare it with elements below it, that is with second, third and fourth. Then I will select the second element, compare it with third and fourth, and finally I will compare the third element, compare it with fourth. Can you guess why it's called as selection sort? Because I am selecting one element at a time and the selected element is compared with all elements below it. Try understanding with this. Select the 0th element, compare with 1, 2, 3, 4. Select first element, compare with 2, 3, 4. Second, compare with 3, 4. Third, compare with the fourth element. Select every element of the array and each element below the selected elements must be compared. If greater, then they need to be simultaneously interchanged. What I'll do is, instead of taking a large array, I have a smaller array in front of you. On this array, let me show you how selection sort is implemented. Each step I will write down for you. See, I will select the 0th element and I will compare it with element below it. If the 0th element is greater than the first element, I need to interchange, but it's not greater in my example, so I will keep the list of elements as it is. Now, guess what to do next? I have selected 0th element and I have compared it with the first element. Now, the same selected element 0 must be compared with a of 2. A of 0, if it is greater than a of 2, I need to interchange them so that I will be getting 33, 55, 44, 22, 11. See what I have done? 0th element I have compared with first, 0th element I have compared with second, 0th element I will compare with third, A0 if it is greater than A3, interchange them so that you get 22, 55, 44, 33, 11. Again I repeat, A0 with A1, A0 with A2, A0 with A3, A0 with A4. If it is greater, I need to interchange them so that I get 11, 55, 44, 33, 22. Did you note? The smallest element 11 is at its appropriate position. How did I get it? I compared the 0th element with elements below it. First element, second element, third element and fourth element. After doing this, 0th position has got the appropriate number. Now, The same thing has to be implemented for the next position. That is, I'll select the first element and I'll compare with elements below it. So A1 has to be compared with A2. If A1 is greater than A2, I need to interchange them. So 11 is as it is in my list. This is 44, 55, 33, 22. A1 with A2, A1 with A3, if greater I need to interchange them. So this is 33, 55, 44, 22. Again I repeat, A1 with A2, A1 with A3, A1 with A4. If A1 is greater than A4, I need to interchange them. So I get 11, 22, 55, 33, 44 and 33. See what happened. When I compared A1 with elements below it, that is A2, A3 and A4, A1 got its appropriate element. Now A0 has been done, A1 has been done, I have to focus on A2. I have to select A of 2 and compare with elements below it. If A of 2 is greater than A of 3, I need to interchange them. This is 44, 55, 33. A of 2 greater than A of 3, A of 2 greater than A of 4. If A of 2 is greater than A of 4, I'll interchange them. This is 11, 22, 33, 55 and 44. When I compared A2 with A3 and A4, I got the appropriate element on A of 2. Similarly, now I'll select A of 3, I'll compare with the element below it. That is, A of 3 is going to be compared with A of 4. If greater, I'll be interchanging them. So this gives me 11, 22, 33, 44 and 55. So this is the easiest technique of arranging elements in the ascending or descending order. What did I do? I compared 0th element with elements below it, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. First element I selected, compared it with 2, 3, 4. Second element I selected and then compared with 3 and 4. Finally, third I selected, compared with 4. Just select each element and compare with all elements below it. Now let's do one thing. Imagine an array of 15 numbers. Just try to understand how elements in the array of 15 numbers will be arranged. I select 0. With what you will compare? You will compare it with elements from A of 1 till A of 49. If it is greater, then you need to interchange them. Select A of 1, compare with A2 from till A of 49. A2 from A3 to A49. A3, A4 to A49. Select A5, A6 to A49. What will be the last comparison? A of 48 with A of 49. Now to select each element, I'll again use a loop. I wish to select A of 0, so I'll use a loop of I which is placed on 0. Now this A0, as you know, has to be compared with A1, A2, A3, A4. So to access A1, A2, A3, A4, I'll take a variable j whose initial value starts from 1 where is still 4. So what is the logic? 0th number has to be compared with 1, 2, 3, 4. To go on the 0th element, I have the loop of I, and to access 1, 2, 3, 4, I have the loop of j. Then I need to select the first element, so that I has to be 1. If I is 1, I need to compare with 2, 3, 4. So to access 2, 3, 4, I'll take the loop of j, which varies from 2 till 4. Next, select the second element. Compare it from 3 to 4. So to access 3 and 4, again I use the loop of j. Finally, I need to compare A of 3 with A of 4. So again I say, what is selection sort? It's selecting an element and comparing with elements below it. To select an element, I need the loop of I, and for all elements below it, I need the loop of j. So it's clear clearly an indication of using nesting of loop, where for each value of I you need to vary the value of j. So here I'll write down the logic for you in rough. For j, see, for each element I use the loop of I, and for elements below the ith element I use the loop of j. This loop of I in my example varied till 3. My array was of 5 elements. You can see the loop of I varied till 3. So I am writing down 3 over here. Whereas for j you can see when I is 0 it starts from 1 to 4. When I is 1 it starts from 2 to 4. When I is 3 it starts from 4 to 4. So what is happening is every time j is starting a position below I. So I will write down I plus 1. And every time the value of j is varying till the last element, that is the 4th element. Here the real logic takes place. If the ith element of the array is greater than the jth element of the array, if a of I is greater than element below it, that is a of j, I need to perform the interchange logic. And you know the interchange logic, it's very simple. I'll take a variable temp, and using temp I'll interchange a of I and a of j. A of I equals to a of j and a of j equals to temp. So this is the selection sort logic for you. Now why I wrote 3 and 4 is because the dimension of my array was 5. Had it been 50, I'll have to change it. If it is 500, I'll have to change it. What I can do for you is, I can write down something in generalized way over here for you. This is dimension minus 1, whereas this will be dimension minus 1. So whatever the array may be, if it's of 50 elements, you use a loop from 0 to 48. This is I plus 1 to 49. So in generalized form, I have defined this for you. Now, why we are using nesting, it was actually clear over here also. See, this is I, this is j. For each value of I, we are varying the values of j. And one small thing that you can do here is, if you want elements in the descending order, instead of this condition, I can be writing down a simplest condition change less than a of j. This was for ascending, and if you put less than sign, then instead of ascending, the elements will be arranged in the descending order. So this is the selection sort technique for you.